Hey everybody, welcome back to another video. When it comes to a high yield savings account, there are a plethora of banks out there where you can park your money. If you want to make passive income and achieve financial security and a place where you can park your emergency funds, I want to present to you three options that you might be considering, and that is the case of LI, SoFi, and Barclays. Now, as you will see, these are three different organizations with different APYs mostly and different benefits. So we're going to approach this from a perspective of, hey, these are your options. I'm going to show you the best features, and I'm also going to show you the differences head-to-head of all of these organizations to help you make the best decision for yourself. If any of these options is for you, there will be links in the description that you can take advantage of starting today before the rates start going down. Now, if you don't know anything about me, by the way, I am an engineer, I'm a dad, and I've been using high yield savings accounts with my family ever since my wife and I paid off $215,000 in debt. And we used this savings accounts for our car. We were able to make passive income for buying our car. We cash flowed it. We are extremely fortunate and excited that we were able to do that, to make that happen. And now we're saving for a house, right? That's our next goal. When I say my, it's like our goal, like our next goal in achieving our next financial goals for a better future. Now, one of the things that I want to give you here, a little bit of insight. If you are somebody that is considering a high yield savings account, one of the things that I've learned is a high yield savings account is a good idea. And this is going to help you if you are also a beginner when you need your money in less than 5 years. One of the lessons that many experts out there suggest that if you are going to need your money in more than 4 years, then it's a good idea to consider other options like investment options such as maybe ETFs or index funds. But if you're going to need your money in less than 5 years, then high yield savings accounts are a good idea. So if you are on this boat, if you need a place where you park your savings, your emergency fund, or for a specific goal, then we are on the same page. Then this video is going to be most helpful to you. Okay, now with this being said, as I mentioned, this at high yield savings account, it's going to help you save with high interest rate and also beat inflation, hopefully, right? At least it's not going to let your money deteriorate and rot away under your mattress or whatever else you keep your high yields, your money. Okay, so now with all this being said, of course, now let's go into the head-to-head comparison between these three organizations, which are quite honestly fairly large. These are pretty big banks out there and very popular, especially when it comes to LI and SoFi. Barclays, because it is a UK-based organization, it's a little bit behind LI and SoFi, at least for high yield savings accounts based on what I've seen. And I've done a lot of research, but it's still a really good contender because of its high APY. All right, so where do we stand with respect to interest? So LI, for example, we are starting at 3.8%. We're starting pretty strong out there because nowadays the interest rates are between high threes, low fours, just about that much. There are a few outliers that are offering 5%, like 5.2%, but mostly those rates are now being faded because the Federal Reserve is decreasing interest rates. And if you don't know anything about high yield savings accounts, then I want to share with you that high yield savings account interest rates decrease when the Federal Reserve starts decreasing interest rates. Now, with respect to SoFi is also at 3.8% as of February 2025, which, by the way, these rates are going to be going up and down over time, but most of the features will remain. So this video, it's going to be as evergreen as it can be. Now, one thing that I want to mention here with SoFi is the fact that 3.8% is available to you if you set up direct deposit. Now, many people ask me, hey, Alex, how much direct deposit do I need in order to get that 3.8% with SoFi? Now, I'm going to share here with you after doing research that there's no minimum direct deposit amount. You can deposit a penny, 10,000, 5,000, 100, it doesn't matter. All they require you to have is direct deposit. Now, with respect to Barclays, you don't need a direct deposit, and Barclays approaches the savings interest rate a little bit differently because they give you a tiered savings approach. Now, you do get 4.25% that's for most people who don't have over $200,000 in their high yield savings accounts. And if you do, then you get bumped up to a higher rate of 4.5%. So essentially what I'm saying here is with Barclays, the more money you have, then the better it is for your interest rate above $200,000. Now, One thing that I've learned is that I do have a partner link with Barclays. And one thing that I noticed is that if you go directly through the website with Barclays, if you find that is for you, you get 3.9%. That's what I found. And I'm going to show you the screenshots here in a second. But if you sign with the links in the description, then you'll find that 4.25% and the 4.5% available to you. Now, when it comes to opening account bonuses, LI, I haven't found a bonus for them at this time. Sometimes they give you $100 to sign up. Now, SoFi, which is one of the organizations that is becoming popular, then they are still offering up to $325, $5,000. You need to have a $5,000 direct deposit to qualify for that $300, and you do get an extra $25 if you sign with the link. If you sign up with the link in the description. Now, Barclays, on the other hand, seems to be aiming at the big ballers, right? Because now we have an organization that gives you a $200 bonus, not with the $5,000, not with $10,000, but you need at least a $25,000 deposit, which is a pretty nice savings to start with, for if you ask me. So if you have that much and Barclays for you, then you will get your $200 for your bonus. Now let's switch to something that it's more about the peace of mind, and that is, of course, the FDIC insurance. Now, LI and Barclays have the regular FDIC insurance up to $250,000. Now, SoFi also offers that, but they bump it up to $2 million, and they do this by leveraging a network of banks that are still FDIC insured, and of course, they distribute the money. So they take your money up to $2 million and then distribute all throughout their partner network of banks. And then they tell you, hey, your money is FDIC insured. But essentially, it's the same method that LI and Barclays uses. It's just the fact that they're using a bunch of other banks where they can distribute your money. So that's a way that you can leverage a higher FDIC insurance if you need to. Now, of course, when it comes to minimum deposits or maintenance fees, none of these organizations have maintenance fees, which is a great perk in my personal opinion. And when it comes to minimum deposit, the only minimum deposit that you need with SoFi is your direct deposit, which is what you need anyways, because you need that to get the 3.8% APY. So if you have any questions so far, let me know in the comments. There are more details that you need to know, which are very important when making a selection of your high yield savings account. So this is the regular website for Barclays at 3.9%. Now, if you use the link in the description, then you can get a little higher APY based on what I've seen. You don't have to use the link below, but based on my findings, then it is beneficial to use it because you would get a higher APY. All right, so with this being said, when it comes to other features like account access, how can you access your money? LI and SoFi, they offer you the regular online approach, mobile, and also you can access your money through an ATM if you have a checking account, which, by the way, with SoFi, you get a checking account automatically once you open your high yield savings account. They're very upfront about this. They tell you on the website, and you get an ATM card that way. With LI, it's a little bit more active because you have to open the checking account on your own. So it's very simple, of course, signing up with these organizations. It only takes like 5 to 10 minutes. Like I open multiple high yield savings accounts myself, and it's never too difficult. Now, with Barclays, the only way that you can access your money is through online, and that is through your mobile application or the website. They don't offer ATM access, and that's that, right? So if you want a high yield savings account that is more of a, hey, it's a little bit on the side, like I don't want to have access too easily to it because then I will be tempted to use the money, then if that's your personality, then that's something to consider. Now, when it comes to making deposits, of course, most of these organizations offer the regular bank transfer, direct deposit, wire transfers, mobile checks, and of course, everybody charges you for a wire transfer, like not just Barclays, right? Like it's usually a charge service. And when it comes to a wire transfer, you're essentially paying for speed. When I used to be a banker back in the day, I used to see a lot of people use wire transfers, and usually that's used for business purposes because you want the money to get from one side to the other very quickly. You don't have time to wait a couple of days to transfer the money through ACH and stuff like that. So with that being said, now let's move on to how long would it take you to get your money in case of a withdrawal. Now, in the grand scheme of things, it's really about the same, up to 3 business days for all of them. And that's pretty much standard for most banks and high yield savings account organizations that I've seen. There's a couple that take like up to 5, maybe a little longer, depending on what kind of transactions you make Also, it depends on whether or not you already have a relationship with the bank. Because again, from a banking perspective, when I used to work at a bank, one of the things that banks do is they walk you through a review period where they monitor your transactions, not so much spying on you, but they want to make sure that you're not making shady transactions and the origin and the source of your money is legal, right? So they kind of like monitor if you start making very much large deposit and frequent transactions, and that can raise flags in the system and you'll end up having to call customer service. So that's just something to keep in mind. And if you are going to be using your high yield savings account, kind of like a checking account, there are other options for you. You can open a checking account and obviously use that. Or there's these things called also cash management accounts, which are essentially hybrids between a high yield savings and the checking. And that, of course, allows you to use your money, earn a high interest, while at the same time letting you use it as a checking account. And just it's really the same features based on what I've seen. All right. Now, of course, Ally and SoFi have a full-blown, full-service financial organization. They have checking, savings, they have loans, they have credit cards, they have like a bunch of other products. And Barclays is a little bit more contained. They have high-yield savings accounts, CDs, credit cards, but not so much all the other benefits that you would find with Ally and SoFi. So if you want a full-blown banking service, then the ones on the left right here on your screen are going to be better options for you. Now, a couple of other important details to know, of course, is the branding and really at the end of the day, the confidence and warm and fuzzy feeling that you have with an organization. That's one of the things personally that I look at if I relate to a brand, if I like it, if I like what they stand for or whatever, right? Whatever floats your boat. Then so Ally has been in business technically, if you think about it, like it was like back in the day, right? Since 1919, which is formerly known as GMAC, and it was established back in 2009, the high yield savings portion, which is honestly, when Ally first showed up, I signed up with them. I was earning at the time about 3.5% APY. And of course, we were going through the recovery of the recession of 2008. So the interests were fairly high. And I had, I think, $100 in my account. But I was happy, right? Because I was earning like 3.5%. Now, SoFi is a little bit new. It stands for social finance. It was established back in 2011 out of Stanford. Now, of course, they've grown into a pretty much a massive corporation. They even have a stadium all the way out in LA. And Barclays, little fact, right, I want to share here with you. This is your history lesson for the day. Now, this organization was established back in the 1600s. So a while ago, right? So it's a long time ago. So that just tells you a little bit more about the history. And of course, Barclays is from London, UK, which at the time, I think there was a lot of things happening back in the day. All right, so now with Ally, one update I want to share here with you is that when it comes to withdrawal frequency limits, Ally stops or not, doesn't stop, but it gives you withdrawal limits up to 10 withdrawals per cycle. With SoFi and Barclays, you have no limit. Now, what I've noticed, and I'm not saying this is the case with Ally, but sometimes some organizations, they charge you fees for going over the allowed withdrawal limits per statement cycle, because they don't want you to use it like a checking account, right? Like going back to my previous point, depending on how you're going to be using it, then this is going to be important to you. Now, when it comes to customer service, of course, all of these organizations offer customer service. And when I mean customer service, it's human customer service, because there are some online organizations out there that only let you talk to bots. And I don't like that. I want to talk to a human, right? So let me know in the comments if you relate to this, by the way. Like, I want to talk to somebody who can help me solve my problem as soon as possible. All right, now, with those being said, what are people saying when it comes to reviews? What is NerdWallet saying, Bankrate? So I pulled information for you here. So these are the different scores. Ally has an average of a 4.8 between NerdWallet. NerdWallet gives it a 5 for savings. NerdWallet for SoFi gives it a 4.9 and 4.2 for Barclays. And then, of course, Bankrate, we have a 4.7 for Ally. For Ally. And Bankrate for SoFi, 4.3, and then Barclays, 4.0%. Now, one thing that I've noticed here is that when it comes to customer service, the reason why Ally has essentially the highest average is I think it's their customer service. I think people really are pleased with this organization. They really like it. So I think it's a lot of like the word of mouth and the good reviews that really pull people into the organization. And that's really what I've observed. Now, SoFi, I think what pulls a lot of people to SoFi, at least the way I see it, is like the younger crowd. It's a little bit more techy. Also, the nice $325 cash bonus is pretty much enticing and appealing. And that's one of the reasons why a lot of people are signing up with it. And with Barclays, I think the main attraction is the high interest rate, right? I think they're a little bit more serious. I think that's just my perception from the branding, like they're being in business the longest. And they don't offer all of these bells and whistles, right? They just, hey, this is your check, your savings account. This is your high interest. Now go away. That's kind of like the way I essentially see it. So putting all of these organizations back to back in the front here. So with Ally, we have the high APY of 3.8%. No minimum deposit, no monthly fees. I personally never had any problems when I bank with Ally. And also it's got savings buckets, which is becoming a little bit more popular. I think most online organizations allow you to have different savings bucket or vault with one account number. So that way you can save for different things like your car, a house, a wedding, emergency fund, different things. And of course, as I mentioned, it has the highest customer reviews based on what I found. Now, SoFi, on the other hand, you do need the direct deposit to qualify for the 3.8%. You have the highest cash bonus up to $325 with a link in the description. And you have the FDIC insurance as well, up to $2 million. And personally, also, I haven't had any problems. And by the way, they also have a referral bonus that if you refer other people, if you sign up with SoFi and you like it and you tell your friends about it, then you do have a way to refer other people and get rewarded for that as well. So with Barclays, on the other hand, you have the highest APY. You don't need direct deposit. Just like with Ally, you don't need direct deposit. You do have a tier savings approach where the more money you have, then the more you can earn, up to 4.5% with $200,000 or more. And otherwise, 4.25%, which honestly is still pretty good, right? Now, there's no minimum deposit, no monthly fees, and of course, also the branding, which when the branding, I mean here, it has like the longest history in the business. And of course, in my eyes, that has to account for something. So which one is for you? Now, which one, if I had to use a savings account and travel to Mount Rushmore and I want to use the passive income that I made with my savings and go traveling, whatever. This is Mount Rushmore, by the way. I went there with my wife, then girlfriend. Now she's my wife, and we went through Mount Rushmore. We went through from DC to San Francisco, but that's a topic for another video. All right, road trip. All right, so now with Barclays, I would choose it in no particular order. Barclays for basic, no bells and whistles, just good high interest, right? Like you get a $200 bonus with that $25,000 or more, and it's the brand with the longest history. Now, SoFi for a decent APY of 3.8%. It's got decent reviews. The highest bonus up to $325. The FDIC insurance, of course, also the highest in the full service, checking, savings, investing. Like it has a ton of other services for you available. Now, Ally, for anybody that is looking for a decent APY, highest customer satisfaction based on reviews. And of course, it's also a competitor to SoFi when it comes to full service financial help, because it's got checking, savings, credit cards, and a bunch of other stuff. So which one is for you? I would love to know. Check the links in the description if you want to get started with any of these. Thank you so much for watching. Like, subscribe, share, and let me know which one is for you. Peace.